For the past few months, I have made videos covering the best lineups and setups for Killjoy on each of the maps in Valorant. I have done Ascent, Split, and Icebox, and now it's time for one of Killjoy's best maps. So here's the Complete Killjoy Guide for Bind. First, we'll start with A site. I think A site is Killjoy's weaker site, but there's still some really good ones. We'll start with the one with the turret on top of these double stacked boxes. This will be able to see the enemies as soon as they come out of A main. It'll also be able to see them before they enter into this teleporter, so you don't need to worry about them sneaking past. I also like to place it on top of these boxes instead of lower down, forcing the enemies to move their crosshair up. For the alarm bot for this turret, I like to place it in this area since this turret has no vision over showers. You want to make sure it touches both these corners on the left and the top, that way there's no way to get past it. This is a bit more of a defensive alarm bot as it'll only be able to see them once they commit to sight, but they won't be able to see it or hear it until they are ready to commit. If you want a little bit more of an aggressive alarm bot and wanted to place it near this doorway, I suggest placing it in one of these corners. And if you do this, I suggest placing it in this corner. I don't really like this in general though, because you can hear it very early on and they'll be able to anticipate it and shoot it right off the bat. They'll be able to know exactly where it is based on the sound, and they can actually shoot it before it'll be able to see them, no matter what corner it's in. For your swarm grenades, I like to place one here for anyone that the alarm bot catches, and one behind these boxes for anyone trying to plant here. When the alarm bot goes off, you can pop this swarm grenade, and if they start to plant here, you can pop this swarm grenade. Placing it behind these boxes allows it to last a little bit longer and maybe not be shot out. If you want to lock this area down instead, I suggest placing one swarm grenade here, and one swarm grenade here. When the turret goes off, you can pop both of these, and it'll force them to either fall back or fully push to the right here onto site. It will not allow them to go into U-Haul unless they want to walk through all the swarm grenades and take a lot of damage. Alternatively, if you want to stop them from pushing onto site for a bit, you can place one here, and your second one here. This will do the same thing but a little bit further down, leaving them to go into U-Haul but not onto site. The second setup I want to show you guys starts by placing your turret into this back corner near showers. A lot of people like to place theirs up here, and I'll show you why I don't prefer this one. If you place it up here, they'll actually be able to shoot it and see it a little bit through this wall before they even commit onto site at all. If they do want to commit onto site a little bit, they don't even have to go very far to be able to fully shoot it. So I think placing this one a little bit further down behind these boxes is much more beneficial. This way, they'll have to commit a little bit further on the site before they're able to even see the turret and then shoot it. Placing the turret down here also allows it to see people entering U-Haul from A main. For this setup, I'll usually place the alarm bot around A main just to cover it more fully, even though the turret can see a little bit. You actually don't need to place it too far forward, because this turret will be able to see anyone coming from A main into U-Haul. So this doesn't really need to be covered by your alarm bot. So placing your alarm bot a little bit more defensively, I think is much better. Just make sure that it touches both this corner on the left and the corner in the front there. That way there's no way for them to get onto site without it seeing them. This will be able to get them as they're fully committing onto site, and then the turret will be able to tag them later on. You can put your alarm bot a little bit more aggressively here, although I don't like it because it will be shot out very easily. For your swarm grenades, I usually like to place one here for anyone that's going straight for a plant, and then one here for anyone that's trying to move deeper onto site. Once the alarm bot goes off, you pop both of these and deal a good amount of damage to them. Alternatively, if you want to lock down this area with your turret for people coming out of showers, you can place one swarm grenade here behind this corner for the initial push, and then one a little bit deeper on the site for anyone trying to go a little bit further. If you do want a more aggressive alarm bot that works a lot better, placing it right behind these boxes I think is pretty good. This will be able to see them very early on, much earlier than your turret. Placing one swarm grenade here to catch anyone that this alarm bot sees is very good. And then placing one swarm grenade back here is good for anyone that your turret will be able to see. So when your alarm bot goes off, you can pop this one, deal a little bit damage in the initial push, and when your turret goes off, you can pop this one and tag them as they're moving into U-Haul.
Turret's destroyed. One enemy remaining.
The last setup I want to show you guys starts by placing your turret in heaven. This turret placement will give you the most vision out of any other turret placement on this site, and it's very far back, making it a little bit more difficult to shoot. For your alarm bot placement for this turret, you can either do it here in showers like the one before, or you can do a main. Either one works because the turret can see both sides. It really just depends on which one the enemy likes to favor, that way you can catch the most of them. You can even place your alarm bot a little bit more defensively, further back around here, even more defensively around here, or super defensively back here. Just play it by ear depending on what your enemy likes to do.
Swarm grenade out. 10 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
Now we'll cover some A lineups. If someone's holding in this corner, you can stand on top of here, aim at the top corner of this little barrel on top of this building, go up just a bit and to the right a tiny bit, and throw. This will land right here, forcing anyone that's holding this angle to move back. If someone's holding from heaven, you can stand on these little checkered lines on the ground and line yourself up with this dot, aim at the peak of the shape in the roof and go down to this slanted line and throw. Lastly, if someone is holding here, you can go into this corner again and aim at the top of this line on the wall, move to the left just a bit, and throw. It'll bounce off the wall and land right in that corner. Now we'll go over the setups for B site. The first one I want to show you starts by placing your turret on the back of these boxes on site, facing towards you. This turret will be able to see deep into a hookah as soon as they enter into it, and it will be mostly hidden, making it pretty difficult for them to shoot. It can see a little bit onto B long, but not very well, and it's a bit inconsistent for this area. So placing your alarm bot here, I think is the best move. You can place it right at the start of this doorway to get them as soon as they come in. They also won't be able to hear it for a little bit of time, giving you an option to be able to get them right off the bat.
Found them. Enemy grenade out. Love my boss. Swarm grenade out.
Alternatively, for this turret placement, you can put your alarm bot here, and I think this is one of the best alarm bot spots in the game through all the maps. Placing it here so that it gets them when they jump out of the hookah window can be really strong, and I've gotten a lot of kills with this alarm bot spot. As soon as they drop down from this window, it'll be able to go after them, and they won't be able to hear it when they're in the window, so there's no way for them to know it's there until they're already in it. You can then place one swarm grenade here to get them as soon as they jump down, and another one here for when they go for the plant, and this will hit either side. You can then pop both of these as soon as that alarm bot goes off and deal a lot of damage. I've gotten a lot of kills with this setup. You can then hold back here and peek them whenever they come out.
Wait, what did you say? No, it's from Bleach.
Thanks, Botty.
For the next few setups, I'll actually be starting with this alarm bot because I think it's so strong. So for this alarm bot, another turret placement that you can use is on top of this little area on this building. This will be able to see relatively deep into gardens. That way you know pretty early on if they're coming from B long before they actually enter onto site. You can then hold in the back of sight to be able to peek them as soon as your turret shoots them. Alternatively, placing a little bit lower down will hide the turret until a little bit later on when they're fully committed onto site, if you want them to be vulnerable to a few more angles. You can then place one swarm grenade here to cover this area, and another one further back if you want to really lock down on people coming from B long.
Found them.
Destroyed. 30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
The final setup and final turret placement that I use, and probably the one I use the most frequently, is on the corner of these double stacked boxes. This will be able to see into hookah before they actually jump out of the window, so you can know a little bit early on, as well as being able to see them coming out of gardens. This will be able to see both of them, which is why I like this one the most, and the one that I use most frequently.
Ten seconds left.
Turrets destroyed. Anticipated.
Now we'll cover some B lineups. If someone's holding here on site, you can then stand in this corner, aim at this little divot in the cloud here, and go to the left a bit and throw. It'll land on top here, but still get through this box and get anyone inside of here. Lastly, if someone's holding in this doorway in the back of sight, you can find this little curved crack on the ground outside of this doorway next to hookah. Find the divot in this cloud here, and then find the edge of this stick, and then aim a little bit in between them.